digesting of wins and losses immediately afterwards, I think we really need to have a long conversation. And maybe today's not even the day. But I really want to talk about Kelvin Shepard as a defensive coordinator. He has been, I think, exceeded our expectations is a realistic way to put it. I don't want to overstate it or understate it, but Kelvin Shepard has come in and just alleviated the fears of losing Aaron Glenn. He's done a great job. And, there's always counters. There's always, hey, here's what you're doing. So everybody's going to do this to you and do that to you. And then you got to react to their reaction. And so there's still ways to go here. There's no point in doing full victory laps at this point. It's off to a good start, isn't it?
It's off to a great start. And Kelvin Shepard is a big reason why. It's, he's a different guy, different dude, and they're getting similar results of what they had with Aaron Glenn. And last night's game, that's a standout game for him, right? It's the players that make the plays, the players that have to eventually get out there and do it. But he had them prepared. Yeah. He had them ready to go. Some of these guys had just a couple days practice. And some of these guys have only had a week's practice or a couple weeks practice. These are practice squad players. These are players that picked up from other teams' practice squads. And it's remarkable that they're able to step in and do the job that they did. But the secondary last night, they stole the show. And a show that had a spectacular performance from Jahmyr Gibbs, an electrifying run. The defensive front really made an impact. Aleem McNeil, welcome back. He was incredibly disruptive. Derek Barnes, have a game. Nice job from him. But it was the secondary that shined because nobody expected anything out of those guys. And it's unfair, but it's the harsh reality. That's the truth of going into the game. Did not have a real comfortable feeling about how the secondary was going to fare against Tampa when you heard that guys were coming back. Abuka suited up, and you had Evans out there. Otten, the tight end, was used heavily, and they have other receivers too. And I always feel like receivers definitely have the advantage over the secondary because of the rules, first of all. But second of all, it just feels like there's more good quality receivers than there are corners in the league. And it's tough to be a corner in this league.
It's such a tough job.
And they did an amazing job. I think, by stats, I guess I would have to look at the stat sheet again on ESPN, but I thought that there were like 12 passes defended for the Lions. Yeah, 12 passes defended for the Lions. Now, in contrast, so we can understand this, there were 2 from Tampa. So these are passes that are knocked down the line of scrimmage, like you saw Derek Barnes do, like you saw Aleem McNeil do. And then these are passes that are up in the air and knocked away before the receiver has a chance to clamp down and catch it. Nick Whiteside led the team with 3 of those. That's a lot. This team was ready to play, and you take your hat off to Kelvin Shepard and you just give him a loud round of applause. He deserves it.
And he was a linebacker, right? I mean, when he played, Kelvin Shepard was a linebacker. The fact that he has come in here and done such a good job as a defensive coordinator, hats off to, it's too late, but champ of the weekend, Kelvin Shepard, for the job that he has done. 248-539-9797. So much to digest. They're 5-2 at the bye, which I think everybody would have taken at the beginning of the season. I think we do this very weird thing now in Detroit. And I want to make this statement, understanding that these calls came in this morning. We need to realize that each week after the Lions play, we do not need to complain about somebody not getting the football. After every game, somebody on offense doesn't have as many touches. And that's just the way it's going to be when you have this many weapons. And I feel like we don't need to address a crisis every Monday or Tuesday after the weekend and say, yeah, but so-and-so's not getting the ball. The job is to win the game. The job is to win the game. And, when it's all over, the wins count the same, whether J-Mo got the ball or not. Remember at the beginning of the year, it was It was Sam Laporta's not getting the ball. And then there was, I got to get David Montgomery more involved. And, everybody's going to have their day eventually, I feel like. And some more than others. But these aren't crises that need to get addressed every week.
No, they're not. And you have to look at the totality of what happened in the game. What was the game plan and what changed during the game? And when you've got the hot hand of Jahmyr Gibbs, you're going to let him run the ball. And he did. He had 17 carries in the game, and, they threw to him a few times as well. And that was the focal point of the offense. And I credit somebody in this room, and it's not me. Oh, it's you, Doug Karsch, for pointing out yesterday this could be a big game for Jahmyr Gibbs because of what Gibbs has done in the past against Tampa. Despite what Dan Campbell said last week about David Montgomery and needing to get him more carries and all this, and get him more involved in the offense, you went back and looked, and it was, astute. They had some nice gains from Jahmyr Gibbs in the previous games against Tampa, so it made sense. The Lions were running the football. That's what they were trying to do. And then in the end of the game, they're just trying to get that clock to tick, 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 and the best way to do that is to run the ball. Did they do it that successfully? No, not really. No. I mean, they had 164 yards rushing, which looks awesome, but big chunk of that came in the one play, and then it's like 100 yards, less than 100 yards after that. But they ran it 32 times. 32 times. So, your targets aren't there for receivers like J-Mo or Tesla or Sam Laporta, but that's how the game, exactly. The game totally dictates what you're going to do, and you have to understand that. On the other side, you look at all the targets that they gave to Tez Johnson and Abuka and Kate Otten. They threw it 50 times.
Yep.
And 12 of those were knocked down.
Yeah, that's a lot of pass breakups. 248-539-9797. Thomas, you're on 97. Want to take it. Hi, Thomas.
Yeah, I get irritated by fans.
Thomas, do you have us on speaker? Because if you do, take us off speaker. It's hard to understand you.
Okay. Hold on.
Kind of heavy.
Thomas, you've been on hold for a long time. I want to give you your chance.
Yeah.
There you go. You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I get tired of these bandwagon fans complaining about, they didn't score any more points. They didn't get J-Mo on the ball. Tampa, I had to tell a guy last night, I said, you forget Tampa Bay got a good front four. They were throwing 6 and 7 guys at the front four because they're trying to pick and choose who they're going to stop. And it just so happens, like I said, Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown had the high hand. Now, I kind of like the changes that he kind of made in the second half trying to get the ball to Laporta. I thought maybe they could have threw some swing passes, or not. I ain't gonna say swing passes, but maybe like some bubble screens or something like that to J-Mo. Maybe get him in space a little bit. But everybody plays their role on that team, and sometimes you just got to go with what's working for the time being. And like I said, Jared Goff had a lot of pressure in his face, and for him to stand in that pressure and take those sacks and get the ball out when he needed to, they did a hell of a job last night.
Thomas, thank you for the phone call. When we talk to Jared every week and we bring up the complaints that we get about so-and-so not getting ball or that person getting, Jared always says the same thing. It's totally dependent on what a defense is doing. He goes to the receiver that the defense dictates he should go to. And so the Lions call the plays. The defense is when it comes to passing the ball, it's how the defense plays the Lions that dictates where the football goes. More often than not, it feels like that to me, and that's what Jared says. But, hey, thanks, 248-539-9797. Lots to digest from last night's game. It's Karsch and Anderson. We got open lines. What is the most important thing you have learned about your Lions after 7 games? What is the most important thing you've learned about your Lions here after 7 games? It's Karsch and Anderson, 97.1, The Ticket.